It's been 10 years since I started drawing digitally, and today I would like to share that journey with you. I've saved almost every sketch and artwork I've drawn for the past 10 years, and in this video I'll be sharing all of them, or as many as possible. We have a lot of artworks to go through, so let's start with my first year of doing digital art, 2014. I began drawing digitally on May 1st, 2014. My very first sketch that day was this unfinished train, complete with those signature chicken scratching lines that beginner artists are known for. While my first sketch was a train, I would only draw anime characters afterwards, and that was the first trap I fell into. You see, all I wanted to draw was characters in an anime style while not being interested in drawing anything else. No animals, no scenery, or anything else that might have helped me broaden my skills. If it wasn't a cute anime girl, I wouldn't draw it. I should have realized sooner that this might have not been the best way to go about doing art. It is a realization that I had to come to on my own years down the line. After 1 year, I could already see a lot of improvement. It's still far from great, but it feels like a bigger difference from 2014 than to 2024. But it's only natural that you'll see the biggest improvements early on, since you go from knowing nothing to knowing something. And while we all might have art we think was better years ago, right now you're likely able to do better quality art more consistently. Not every piece you create has to be better than the previous one. 2016, the year of experimentation, for better or for worse. Like many artists that draw in an anime style, I also had the dream of one day creating my own manga or webcomic or something. But reality really does start to sink in quickly once you notice you spent 10 hours doing this one panel. Other than that, you might have noticed that so far I've mostly only shown unfinished artworks and sketches. Up to this point I have finished maybe 3 artworks. I've struggled a lot to finish artworks for a long time, and this trend will continue for a few more years. At least I started to try out new things like these manga panels, more shading, and even some environment practice. And with that, up to the next year. Up until this point I used to create new files for almost everything I drew, but that year I began reusing the same file for multiple sketches. It saves time being able to just create a new layer compared to having to create and save a whole new file anytime you want to draw anything. As you can see, I was still practicing to draw comics, which I haven't given up on yet, and began to try out different things. This is also the year where I finally started to improve drawing bodies. Here's an old sketch from the start of 2017, with the same one again, redrawn at the end of the year. Now let's look at the next year. Do you see the difference between these two sketches? Why is the body so long? The longer I went without practicing with references, the longer the bodies I drew became. So let me tell you to use references every now and then, so you don't end up in the same situation as me. Other than that, this was also the year where I started streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/Xasha_. 2019. I tried adding multiple characters in one scene, I tried improving in areas I'm bad at, drew more chibis, filled canvases with sketches, and drew whatever this is. It was a great year. Drawing was probably the most fun it ever was up to that point. Coming out of my comfort zone and drawing things I haven't before really helped. I can only recommend you to do the same if you're currently unsatisfied with your art. I was streaming a lot during 2020, due to certain global circumstances that forced everyone to stay at home. And since I was streaming a lot, I also got to draw a lot. I filled up so many canvases with sketches that year, Wish I can only show some due to the video's length already, but if you'd like to travel back in time and see me draw all of them, well, you can. I started archiving my Twitch streams back then, so you can still see almost all of my live drawing sessions from 2020 onwards. Other than that, like the previous year, I continued practicing things that I wasn't doing much before, like drawing mouths, eyes, environments, and lots of bodies. But enough of that for now. It's time for 2021, similar to 2022, is filled to the brim with canvases full of sketches, with the difference between those two being the improved shapes and line quality. Towards the end of the year, however, I stopped drawing the eyes for the heads I drew, and in general, the sketches I drew became more bare bones. After a while I forgot how to draw faces properly, and I wish I would have put in more effort in those sketches. I still catch myself doing that to this day. It's a bad habit of mine and I need to remind myself once in a while to add more to my sketches. But now, to the next year. Even though there might not be as much art I can show for this year, that doesn't mean I haven't been drawing lots. I started drawing animals more frequently, mostly owls and lizards. I also finally overcame my habit of never finishing my pieces. A lot of the artworks you saw from the previous years were unfinished work in progresses. The most artworks I finished in a single year before were maybe 2 illustrations, with all the other ones being stuck in the never gonna finish limbo. In 2022, however, I finished 6 artworks, a trend that will fortunately continue throughout the next year, 2023. It has probably been my most productive year yet, both in numbers of sketches and finished artworks. In the previous years I would always struggle with my character sketches. I would just draw the body and call it a day, no clothes, no faces, since I don't want to have to come up with a new design every time I draw a sketch. But now I figured out that it'll be easier if you already have a few characters in mind that you like to draw. That way you won't have to come up with a new design every time you sketch. That's why you'll see me draw some characters like Morrigan, Nico, and Mona Punch. I like names that start with an M, apparently. I also was still drawing animals and drew some other random things every now and then. Towards the end of the year I practiced drawing emotions and facial expressions, which also marks the end of 2023 and the beginning of the last year, 2024. We now have reached my remaining art until May 1st of 2024. It's been a long journey. I never could have imagined 10 years ago where I would be now, and I'm happy with the progress I've made throughout these years. It's nice to be able to look back on everything I've done up to this point and see the improvements I've made along the way. I'm glad I stuck to it, and hopefully I will continue doing art for at least another 10 more years. This concludes my 10 years of drawing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Keep drawing everyone, and have a nice day. Bye.